1874, Northwest Mounted Police march west. Manitoba and the Northwest Territories came under control in 1869. The problems were the arrival of the American fur traders. They were small companies that traded strong, cheap liquor called firewater in exchange for the furs from the First Nations. It was outlawed but successful. The center of the whiskey trade was Fort Whoop-Up. The trade devastated communities, leading to widespread alcoholism, disease, and death. The government was worried that because of the trade, we would lose those territories to America. In 1873, the government created the Northwest Mounted Police Force. And, yeah, they were just like a really big police force in the Northwest. Yeah, so later that year, an incident in the Cypress Hills accelerated the arrival of the NWMP in the region. So the Cypress Hills Massacre. In June 1873, a group of Nakota, it's like a First Nations like group, I guess, or like tribe, I don't really know how to word it, but yeah, a group of Nakota camping in the Cypress Hills was attacked by a party of Americans called Wolfers. Wolfers are trappers who would put out poisoned bison meat to kill wolves and coyotes. More than 20 Nakota were killed. Outrage erupted in eastern Canada. People saw the attack as a threat to Canadian sovereignty. Sovereignty in the West. So the government sent a force of 275 Northwest Mounted Police to the prairies to take control, and by the time they got there, everyone was gone. The Americans, Fort Whoop-Up was like, it's like a ghost town, or like ghost building, or ghost Whoop-Up, and like, yeah, everyone was just gone. Americans skedaddled. So then after that was the treaty process. The Canadian government was determined to open the prairies to European and Canadian settlers. However, this was not possible until the question of the First Nations title to the land had been settled. So in 1870, all land in Manitoba and the Northwest Territories was still owned by the First Nations. The exception was land in the Selkirk settlement. It was my gosh. Gotta like read this here, like don't even know what I wrote there. It was leased by Selkirk in an 1817 treaty with the Swatiaks, Swaltuks, and the Cree. So the government was eager to take. I think I need glasses. The First Nations realized when the First Nations realized they'll have to share some of the land, and that they wanted to make the best possible deal to secure the future of their people. So basically the treaty process, because I don't know, my eyes are just really okay. So the treaty process was like the Canadian government, you know, they wanted some more like land, but First Nations were there first, and I can see why, you know, kind of makes sense that they would own most of it. They were first people. So then the government's like, yo, you gotta share some of this, you know, sharing is caring. And then they kind of made up like this treaty process that First Nations would own this certain percentage of land, and like the European settlers and like imports would like own this kind of like this amount of land. So basically, why is this important? Because, well, if this treaty process didn't happen, we could be like Canada, or like, I don't know, like we right now wouldn't really be in the same place because it'd still be owned by the First Nation. it'd still be owned by the First Nations. So I don't know, I could be living in like, I don't even know. So yeah, basically like if that treaty process and none of this like went down, then you know, America could have taken over. Canada couldn't even. Oh my goodness! I just realized this. America could be like Canada right now, because what if the Americans and like their whiskey and the trading the furs? What if they did take over the territories and stuff? Oh my gosh! It'll be like Nazi Germany. It'll be like America trying to take over Canada. It'll be like, oh my goodness! Like, I thought my actual like event was not important at all, but I just realized it was. I just actually realized how important this was, and how it kind of like, you know, made up Canada to what it is today. So basically, I'm gonna make an improvisation. I'm gonna. What's the word? No. I'm gonna like kind of guess what would happen if the Royal Mounted Canadian Police showed up and the Americans were actually still there and Fort Whoop Up was still running. So I'm gonna take you over here. I'm gonna go meet my buddy Vladimir. This is Vladimir. He's gonna be our Royal Canadian Mounted Police. And you see these crickets in here? Those are the Americans. Because, you know, Canadians are badass. Americans are just... Come on, Canada, get them. Get America. Kill them. Just kidding. They're our friendly neighbors. America, we love you. Come on. Get them. Get them, America. Get him, Vladimir! For Narnia, Vladimir! Get him! Get him, buddy! You should be hungry! Come on, Vladimir, get him! Oh, yeah! Chowing down on these Americans. You can't have Canada. You'll never have Canada. For freedom!